This is a story from many years ago. I had rented a room in the back of a private hospital near Liberty College in Dallas. I used to work all day and collapse onto the bed at night. One evening, an old man arrived from Greenville, Texas. It was the time before mobile phones. People used to communicate via landlines or handwritten notes. That old man stopped my classmate near the entrance. I served him tea, gave him dinner, and then asked what had brought him there. He said, "Son, I want to meet the owner of the hostel you're staying in. Please help arrange a meeting." I replied, "Sir, I don't know him personally. How can I arrange that?" But he insisted, "Please try. If our intention is clean, the meeting will happen, God willing." To cut the story short, I asked the receptionist, got the address of the owner, and learned that he was a known figure in the area. At that time, David Rawlins and John Batter were leading figures in the American People's Party of Texas. With some effort, I took the old man to the hospital owner. He was an extremely arrogant and rude man. He came out to the gate and asked, "Yes, what is it?" I had recently joined the workforce, so I was eager to introduce myself formally. I did that, but he just stood there, holding the gate and staring at us. The old man then spoke in a soft voice, "Son, I've brought you something. I've come from Greenville. Your father and I were friends. I met you hundreds of times in your childhood." He softened slightly and invited us in, but only allowed us to sit outside on the porch. Then he asked, "So, what can I help you with?" The old man said, "Son, your father owed money to 7 families back home. Those people visit your father's grave every day, curse him, and demand their money back. It hurts to see that. God has blessed you abundantly. My advice is to return home, settle those debts, and bring peace to your father's resting place." The man laughed and said, "Mr. Sheikh, thank you for the advice, but my father borrowed the money, not me. Why should I repay it? Please take this token of help from me, and don't disturb me again." Those words made my forehead sweat, and the old man's eyes filled with tears. He softly said, "Son, maybe your father was wrong, but making up for a parent's mistakes is the duty of a child." The man shrugged and said, "Well, I never told my dad to take loans from people. That was his choice." Then he stood up. We quietly got up and left. On the way back, the old man told me his father used to collect money from people, claiming it was for his children's education. We tried to stop him, but he always said it was necessary for his kids. And now those very kids don't even acknowledge his burden. People still visit his grave daily, cursing and demanding what's owed. "God was kind to me," the old man continued. "I moved forward in life, but every time I've seen a funeral or stood by a grave, this memory comes rushing back, and my body breaks in a sweat." This was the first life lesson I ever received. Then came the second story, that of Dr. James Amstead. He was the owner of Amstead Housing Scheme, son of a former deputy commissioner, and son-in-law of retired Supreme Court Judge Charles Monroe. God had poured wealth upon him, but he ended up drowning in it. He started by scamming 13,000 members in the Willow Run housing scheme, taking $10 each. Later, during the time of the American People's Party, he partnered with Jeffrey Gonzalez, the brother of politician Victor Gonzalez, and created a fake plantation project. Dr. Amstead took over $20 million from Jeffrey and disappeared. When the scandal erupted, Chief Justice Michael Chowdhury took notice. Legal proceedings began. Eventually, through a lawyer in Austin, a deal was made between Dr. Amstead and the judiciary, and that deal soon turned into a marriage alliance. Dr. Amstead's son Daniel Amstead married Chief Justice Chowdhury's daughter. Thus, the fake housing and irrigation fraud cases were swept under the rug. Years passed. A new administration came into power. Arrest warrants were issued. The Amstead family fled abroad. On September 16, 2018, Daniel Amstead was arrested in New York, but a judge in Texas High Court later declared the warrants illegal. The family then quietly relocated to Canada. The scam amount had reached over $25 million. Dr. Amstead offered plea bargaining to return only $3 million, but the authorities refused. Meanwhile, he fell seriously ill. He returned to the U.S. for treatment, but his condition kept deteriorating. No doctor, no contact, not even his powerful family ties helped. On March 2nd, 2021, Dr. James Amstead passed away in Dallas. The family tried to bury him quietly, but the victims heard the news. They arrived with placards and posters, first at his home, then at the cemetery. They shouted, "Return our money." Police were called. Officers stood between the mourners and the protesters. With police protection, he was finally buried. Even today, people still visit his grave, demanding justice. The family has since hired security guards at the cemetery. But the biggest tragedy? The very children for whom the fraud was committed. They were all sitting comfortably in Canada. Not one of them came to bury their father. This is the tragic end of someone blinded by greed. But the bigger tragedy lies ahead. This family, who stole millions for their children, couldn't even bring those children to attend the funeral. This story is a lesson for every fool chasing wealth. What is money anyway? Just paper. It burns. It tears. It vanishes. It turns to cancer. Those fancy bank statements, they mean nothing. Banks fall. Accounts close. Figures disappear. This earth and the gold buried in it belongs to God. He can give it to anyone, anytime. So why do we chase it like animals? Why do we ruin others for it? Why do we fight for pieces of land, for zeros in bank accounts, for currency notes? Why do we hurt others, who later curse us at our graves, just to collect temporary comfort? Why do we hurt those who, after our death, will sit thousands of miles away and never even return to bury us? I often tell my friends, if you're over 50 years old, please ask forgiveness from those you've hurt. Return what you owe. Speak the truth. Settle your matters. Because the rope of life can snap at any moment. The sooner you understand this, the better for you. And remember, those who stretch beyond their needs only bring torment upon themselves. Do not let your wealth become your punishment. One day, all that you own may walk ahead of your coffin like a burden you never let go of, while your heirs sit in another country, watching from afar.